All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to talk about something really special, one of the most massive updates I've ever seen for an open source project. We're talking about a complete reinvention of TARS AI, the Raspberry Pi-based AI robot companion. And believe me, this isn't just a patch with a few new bells and whistles. It's a total revolution from the ground up.
And look, when I say this is a big deal, I am not kidding. Check this out. 56,000 plus lines of new and modified code. That is a staggering amount of work. This is a complete rebuild, and in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly what that means for anyone out there who's ever dreamed of building their own AI sidekick. So, okay, maybe you're new to this. What even is TARS AI? Well, think of it this way. It's an open source project that gives you all the tools to build your very own AI robot, heavily inspired by the super cool TARS from the movie Interstellar. The whole thing's written in Python, it's designed to run on a cheap Raspberry Pi, and, well, it just got a whole lot smarter.
To really get what makes this update so revolutionary, you have to start with the core architecture. The developers came up with this brilliant solution to the biggest problem of running AI on tiny computers. They gave TARS two brains.
And this right here is the brilliant part. You've got the Raspberry Pi, which is kind of like the body. It's lightweight, it lives right on the robot, and it deals with all the physical stuff. You know, the motors, the screen, the immediate interactions. But all the heavy lifting, the really intensive AI thinking, well, that's the heavy brain. It's offloaded to a companion server, your powerful home PC, or a server with a beefy GPU that can run those huge, demanding AI models.
But here's where it gets really powerful. It's all about modularity. The companion server can run all these different AI services, and they're optional. You can fire up local language models, give TARS vision to understand what it sees, generate images with stable diffusion. You can even have it generate music. It's like an all-you-can-eat buffet of AI powers that you can just pipe right into your little robot.
So you're probably wondering, how does this all actually work together? Well, the best way to wrap your head around the new TARS AI is to follow the life of a single voice command as it travels through this brand new system, from the moment you speak to the moment the robot talks back.
This whole journey really breaks down into four main stages. First, you have the wake word. That's what gets the system to listen. Second, your speech gets transcribed into text. Third, that text gets sent over to the language model to figure out a response. And fourth, the magic part. The robot speaks back to you using streaming speech. So let's look at that very first step.
Now, this is not your run-of-the-mill, "Hey Siri." This thing is a beast. It's got this dual-mode engine using neural nets and template matching. But the real magic, it's these gates. Before the AI even bothers to analyze the sound, a 5-gate pre-filter just throws out all the junk noise, clicks, rumbles, whatever. And after it thinks it hears the wake word, it can run even more checks, like, is that the right person's voice? Do I see a face on the camera? Heck, it can even double-check that the audio actually transcribes to the right word. I mean, this is basically military-grade rejection of false alarms.
Okay, so TARS has heard you and understood the command. What happens next is, honestly, a game changer for the user experience. You see, in the old system, you'd ask a question and then just wait. You'd have to wait for the entire AI response to be generated before you heard anything. Not anymore. TARS now starts talking after the very first sentence.
And the way they pull this off is with something called the Streaming Sentence TTS pipeline. So get this, while the big AI brain is still thinking and generating its full reply word by word, this new system is smart enough to find the first complete sentence, convert just that part to audio, and start playing it immediately. All of this is happening while the AI is still working on the rest of its answer. This simple change slashes the perceived wait time and makes the whole conversation feel incredibly fast and natural.
But what if you don't just want to ask a question? What if you want the robot to actually do something, like search the web or control the lights in your room? Well, this is where we get to the next massive shift in the architecture, the brand new skills system.
You know, this quote from the devs just nails it. Before, every single action the robot could take was hard-coded into this one huge 530-line file of if-then statements. It was messy, it was fragile, and it was a total nightmare to add anything new. So they threw the whole thing out.
And this chart just shows you how dramatic that change was. They went from that one tangled mess of a file to over 19 individual, self-contained plugins that are discovered automatically. It's basically like having an app store for your robot. You want to add a new ability? You just drop a new skill file into a folder, reboot, and bam, TARS has a new superpower.
And just look at what this new system unlocks. You can tell TARS to search the web and give you a summary, control your smart home stuff through Home Assistant, create images, or even compose music based on a prompt you give it. And one of my favorites, this sandboxed code execution, which literally lets the AI write and run its own Python code to figure stuff out. It's just so incredibly flexible.
So this revolution isn't just happening on the inside, under the hood. The entire user experience, especially the web interface you use to control and see what the robot's doing, has been completely torn down and rebuilt from scratch.
And it all kicks off with customization. You now have 15 different themes you can apply to the web UI. You want a cyberpunk look? Done. Something retro? You got it. You can even make it look like HAL 9000 or a Star Wars terminal. It's all about making the interface feel like your own.
But it's the new features that are the real showstoppers here. I mean, full voice chat right in your browser? A memory graph that lets you see what the robot is thinking as this cool interactive web of ideas? You can watch its emotional state on a live radar, build new physical movements with a 3D preview, and even see the exact raw prompt being sent to the AI. It's just an insane level of insight and control. Okay, so you're probably thinking, I'm going to need some crazy expensive hardware for all this, right? Well, wrong. The team did an amazing job here, making sure it runs on a whole range of devices. Everything from the latest and greatest Raspberry Pi 5 all the way down to the tiny little Pi 02W. And that is so important, because it means you can get into this whole TARS AI world for like 15 bucks.
So, let's step back for a second and bring this all together. What does this huge, ground-up rebuild really mean?
So what's the big takeaway here? It's that TARS AI isn't just some neat little project anymore. No way. It is leveled up into a full-blown platform. It's modular, so you can mix and match parts. It's incredibly sophisticated, with an AI pipeline that could honestly rival commercial products. And most importantly, it's accessible to almost anyone, with that super low $15 entry point. It's the ultimate toolkit for building the AI companion you've always wanted. And that kind of leaves us with one final thought. With an architecture this flexible and this powerful, the sky's the limit. The project's all up there on GitHub, ready to go. So the question really isn't if you can build something amazing anymore, it's what are you going to build first?